Good morning, fifth graders. I'm going to give you a little bit of a boost here in doing the inquiry about the planet sizes. I would suggest that you watch the video that I sent from Savis about the man using vegetables and fruit to model the planets. If you can't let it run or it doesn't work on your computer, it's not necessary in order to be able to do this assignment. So the first thing I would do is make sure that I put my name on this. So let's see, I'm just going to write this person's name on there. So I have that name, and today's date is February 10th. So always read the directions and make sure that you have the materials that you needed. Here are my materials right there. I need the planet patterns, a pair of scissors, and a ruler, obviously something to write with. It asks you to measure the diameter of each paper planet. Use the measurement and the chart to identify and label the planets. Cut out each planet. So the way that it has you do it, it has identify and label the planets and then cut them out. I'm not going to do all of those. I'm just going to do one planet. So we were spending a lot of time, and we read a little book, and we learned that Jupiter was the biggest planet, or the largest planet in the solar system. And I can sort of tell, just by looking at this, that this one is the largest. But just because it wouldn't hurt to get a little bit of extra practice measuring the diameter. Remember, the diameter is a line segment that goes through the middle and attaches on both ends. So I'm going to measure this one, and I'm going to look and see, and it says the diameter of the model in millimeters. The chart in your book is a little bit larger if you're trouble seeing that, but it doesn't have the same number of questions. So I'm going to go over here and measure this, and in millimeters, I have, in millimeters, now remember, 10 millimeters equals each centimeter. So all I have to do is go here, and this is about 243 times 10 millimeters, but 14 times 10 centimeters is like 140, and it goes a couple beyond that. So I'm going to say this is Jupiter, and I'm going to go ahead and write its name, and I have all of this space, so there's no reason to write it really small. And just because I like to do a little extra, I remember reading Red Spot from Mr. DeMayo, and I'm going to put this red spot in there. And then I remember just seeing, I'm just going to add some color to mine just to make it a little bit more visually appealing. Maybe I'll get to remember some of the characteristics. Maybe give that red spot a little bit more swirls there. Okay, so now I just have to, after I've completed all of the planets, some of them are very, very close. Don't get, these two are kind of close, but clearly one's smaller. These two are really close if you eyeball them, but I think you could tell which one is smaller. So I'm going to go ahead and cut this out. If you've been reading and listening in class and watching the videos, you've learned that the planets are broken into two basic groups, the inner and the outer planets. So when I come over to the little piece of construction paper I gave you, you can also use Scotch tape. 1, 2, 3, 4. I think that I'm going to kind of go like this. Just try to see if I can get maybe the planets. And we just want them in order. It's okay if they get overlapped a little bit. If you don't have a glue stick in your book bag or lying around in the junk drawer at home, feel free to use Scotch tape. I'm going to try to just put this a little bit toward the front because I know those gas giants are going to struggle getting there. So maybe I'm going to put it with tape, and I might go ahead and write my name on this too, because I might hang some of these up. So that would be my name. After I get all of these cut out with their names on it and put on here in some way, we're going to answer these questions here. There are 2 questions here. Well, let me go through. Number 2, it says put the models of the planets in order by size. Compare the sizes of the inner and outer planets. And so that's sort of what I did on here. And then answer after observing your models. Compare the sizes of the inner and the outer planets. So I would expect in some way reference to the inner and the outer planets in this answer for 2 points. And then it says, why do you think the inner planets are closer to the sun than the outer planets? So another way to phrase this question would be maybe, why are the smaller ones a lot closer to the sun than the larger ones? I'll take all of your thoughts here. This is for 1 point, and so you'll get 3 here, and I'll probably give you some points for completing all of the planets on here, and so it'll probably be about 10 point inquiry, maybe a little more, maybe a little less, but right around there. Okay, you guys have, just see if you can remember the order. See if you can remember that little phrase I told you to say about nachos that might help you get the order. I believe the planets are discussed in order in your textbook. There are pictures of them in order in your textbook, and that is a real easy Google slide. Mr. DeMeo went to them in order on the video as well. Okay, you guys have a nice Wednesday.